When I married Daniel, I knew I wasn't just marrying a man. I was stepping into a new role in life that I had never imagined for myself. Daniel had a son, 8-year-old Ethan, who was bright, curious, and quiet in ways that pulled at my heartstrings. I wasn't his biological mother, but every time I looked at him, I felt the weight of responsibility to be someone he could trust, someone who would never walk away. That evening, after a long day of errands and phone calls, I walked down the hallway of our little suburban house. The sun was beginning to set, casting a golden glow through the blinds. It was unusually quiet. Daniel was still at work, and normally Ethan would be in the living room with cartoons playing or building his Lego towers. But today, the living room was empty. His backpack lay on the couch, his shoes were near the door, but Ethan wasn't there. Something tugged at me. I followed the sound of faint tapping, almost like marbles clinking, coming from his room. When I pushed the door open, I found him sitting cross-legged on the carpet with a small toy car in his hand. He wasn't racing it around like kids usually do. He was staring at it, rolling it slowly, his lips pressed together, his eyes distant. "Hey, buddy," I said softly, leaning against the doorframe. "What are you up to?" Ethan looked up, startled, as if I had caught him doing something wrong. He quickly hid the car behind his back and shook his head. "Nothing." But it wasn't nothing. His face told me that. There was a sadness there, one I hadn't seen before. My instinct was to step closer, to sit down with him, but I didn't want to push too hard. Children, I had learned, open their hearts only when they felt safe. I sat on the floor across from him and crossed my legs. "You know," I said gently, "I used to play with cars too, when I was your age. I had this red one that I thought was magic." His eyes lifted slightly, curious. "Magic?" "Yeah," I smiled. "I thought if I raced it fast enough, it could take me anywhere I wanted to go, like to the beach, or even to the moon." He giggled softly at that, his small shoulders relaxing a little. For the first time, his hand came forward again, revealing the toy car. It was a bit old, the paint scratched, but I could see he loved it. "This one was my mom's gift," he whispered. The words stopped me cold. Ethan's mother had passed away a few years ago, something Daniel rarely spoke about. I knew the loss had carved a deep space in Ethan's young life, but I had never heard him mention her directly. And here he was, clutching something she had given him, as though it carried pieces of her love inside it. I leaned closer. "She gave that to you?" He nodded. "On my birthday. She said it would make me brave. But I don't feel brave anymore." His words pierced through me. I wanted to reach out and hug him, but I stayed still, giving him the space to share. "Ethan," I said quietly, "do you know what being brave really means?" He shook his head. "Being brave doesn't mean you're never scared or sad. It means you keep going, even when you feel those things. And holding on to memories of someone you love, that's brave too." His eyes shimmered with unshed tears. Slowly, he slid the toy car across the carpet toward me. "Do you think if I keep this, she can still see me?" My throat tightened, but I forced a smile. "I think she'd be so proud of you. And yes, I believe she sees how strong you are." That evening turned into something more than I could have expected. Ethan opened up little by little, telling me stories about his mom, how she used to sing to him at night, how she always put strawberries in his lunchbox because she knew they were his favorite, how she told him once that he had the kindest eyes. Listening to him, I realized this wasn't just a toy car. It was his bridge to her memory. And in that moment, I knew my role wasn't to replace her. It was to walk beside Ethan as he carried those memories, to remind him he wasn't alone. When Daniel came home later, he found us still sitting on the floor, the toy car between us. I told him quietly about the conversation, and Daniel's eyes softened in a way I rarely saw. He pulled Ethan into his arms and whispered something I couldn't hear, but I saw Ethan smile against his father's chest. That night, as I tucked Ethan into bed, he surprised me. "Thank you for listening," he said, his small voice steady. I brushed his hair back and kissed his forehead. "Anytime, sweetheart. I'll always be here." It was a simple promise, but it became the foundation of our bond. The night I found Ethan playing alone, I thought I was just stumbling onto a quiet moment. But what I really found was the beginning of trust, the doorway to his heart. And from then on, every time I saw him with that little toy car, I didn't just see a child playing. I saw resilience, love, and the invisible thread that still connected him to his mom. And maybe, just maybe, I realized I had been given the chance not only to love Daniel, but to love his son in a way that honored his past and nurtured his future. That day changed me as much as it changed him.